Or the tight end stats. I know Vernon Davis has been highly touted by our friend Robbie here, as well as some other people. Finally,
Brent Selleck.
I love him.
And Selleck is on there too. My tight end, of course, Tony Gonzalez.
That's right. And I think Robbie deserves a potato chip for the Brent Selleck call at the start of the year, so here you go.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Right.
It's my pre-Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
I'm not going to have any other. This is it.
That's all you
fasting.
need.
I'm fasting.
You'll be too busy watching football to eat any Thanksgiving dinner.
As far as the pillow fighter is concerned, it's really not a big surprise here. Theory that we've had for a long time on this show is that the playoff teams have the best fantasy pillow fighters. Sure enough, New York Giants, New Orleans, San Diego, Philly, Mini, New Orleans, Green Bay, and possibly Miami. All those top 8, pillow fighters there probably going to the playoffs. With the exception of maybe Miami. Miami definitely has some work to do at 5.
And Seattle has no chance.
Seattle, no chance at all. All right, so
let's move on to some real in-depth analysis. But I do want to actually, I know you've been telling me, Doug, all season long about your great fantasy football team you drafted for the World Championships of Fantasy Football, which, by the way, I was unfortunate. I had other plans for that weekend, had to sit out the World Championships of Fantasy for the first time ever. But tell us about your experience, as you took a year off and came back. Was that little year like a bit of a refresher course?
Phil, I kind of picked up where I went off the year before I took off last year. The last year I played it, I finished I finished third. I forgot what the regular season standings are. I was second or third. I finished third in the league due to, and I would have won the entire league if it hadn't been for my pillow fighter missing 3 pillows in one game. That means
his name is Sanj Swisham?
That means field goal kicks for those of you who don't habla. And I won't mention his name to protect the innocent, but I will tell you what. This year I picked up where I left off. I started off at 1-3. It was a horrible season. But we can see the standings as they are right now on this fantasy football league 59 in WCOF. The name of my team is 1 Year Oneaters, otherwise known as 1 Year Wonders. They finished second. I had a strong showing last week, breaking 200 points to solidify my second place spot. Don't call me Flouty, whatever that means. It's the first place team, followed by double the bet. Law and Disorder was kicked out. Dreading Dietrich duo at 6-5 gets into the playoffs. And I'll show you how this happened. I'm going to take you through my draft real quickly.
Do we really need to know this? I mean, can we just move on to the next chart?
Yeah, that's why we moved on. Let me show you my team real quick. I'm going to break down my draft for you in as quickly as I can. Randy Moss I got in the first round. I'm glad that LaDainian Tomlinson didn't fall to me because I would have picked him instead. All right, I picked at number 7, by the way, and the number 6 in the second round. Portis was a bust. Owens was a bust. He has been a bust, but he did put up almost 200 yards last week, maybe getting the hang of that Buffalo offense. Joseph Adai, I think, was a great pick in the 4th round. Number 7 running back in WCOF. Larry Johnson was
first
a bust.
round pick 2 years ago.
Then Gonzo, obviously a good draft pick, the number 3 tight end. Romo was good. Jamal Lewis, Ted Ginn Chambers, 3 busts in a row.
Ted Ginn was awesome. That's a great pick, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Since then, I've dropped.
The Larry Johnson pick was way better, though.
Since then, I've dropped Chris Chambers, Brett Favre here, and then I have 3 great picks in a row: Brett Favre, Ricky Williams, and Sidney Rice. Anytime you get 3 top 10 players at their position in rounds 11 through 13. That's great. And one other great pick I made was Mike Sims Walker in the 18th round, getting a top 15 wide receiver.
It's a good thing, Doug, you had those 11, 12, and 13 picks to make up for a very lackluster early part of your draft, I would say.
Yeah, it was lackluster, Phil. And what this proves, though, is that if you look at the picks that are good or above in this draft, there are only 10 of them. The rest of them are basically busts, the rest of my team. So all I needed was 10 out of 20 good picks to have a good playoff team, and I'm very close in points to that team that's ahead of me, and I also am maybe eligible for the championship runoff of 144 teams out of approximately 800 and something in the World Championship, which means I would be eligible for competing for the $300,000 grand prize, which would be a very nice prize to have.
And certainly with a draft like this, you must have managed the waiver wire like a champ, didn't you?
My waiver picks were horrible. I didn't get any good waiver picks at all except for the Denver Broncos defense. I got a top 10 defense. I didn't bid enough on the waiver wire. I should have. If any of my key players gets injured, Phil, it's pretty much over.
So you were kind of employing the theory, it's like, well, I drafted a pretty good team. I'm just going to stick with it for a couple weeks and ride it out and hope for the best. So congratulations, Doug. You earned a couple more potato chips for that draft.
Thank you for that. And on that note, let's go ahead and move on to the next section.
All right, we're moving on right now to the section where we've been advertising this all season long, and you guys haven't been picking up on us, but our show is in desperate need of weather bunnies. This guy was supposed to be our weather bunny recruiter, and he's been so busy managing restaurants and tending bars that he's not been able to recruit any quality weather bunnies for us. So
I'm in a tough spot right now. I'm sorry that I let two of you guys down, but I will make up for it full-heartedly. Come to my bar tonight, and you will be taken care of.
It's very important for you ladies out there that are watching the show, whether because you love football or you love your boyfriends are forcing you to watch the show. But if you love the weather, you're interested in starting a career in television, you love football, your boyfriend loves football. If you answered yes to any of these questions, and you would like to be on our TV show, we'd love to have you to come on and do like a 2 or 3 minute weather segment. If you're interested in doing that, please send an email to doug@ffreview.com or phil@ffreview.com. Whoever one of us is your favorite. So just send us an email and let us know, and we'll review your application and give you an email back and let you know what we can do for you.
That sounds good. I think it'll be amiss for us to cover the Thursday night games. By the time the show airs, the Thursday Thanksgiving games, day and night Thanksgiving games, will all be over. So happy Thanksgiving on that note.
That will have just ended because it'll be 11:30 at night, and then the game will have just ended or it's going overtime.
The last game will have just ended, so it's useless for us to analyze that. But I think the first Sunday game that we have to cover is Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Miami's only favored by 3. Of course, we know that Miami is much better. They're 5-5. Buffalo is 3-7. Ricky Williams, Ronnie Brown's been put on IR. It's all up to Ricky now. Lex Hilliard did a pretty good job last weekend.
His first carry went for 21 yards and a big first down. That's huge.
He did a good job. That would have been a good guy for me to pick up on the waiver wire, but I didn't.
I want to say one thing, though, and what I observed over that Thursday night game is Devon Bess. This guy was a 7th-round draft pick out of Hawaii 2 years ago. And he's really established himself as one of their better playmakers. I mean, the guy catches anything that's thrown to him. He runs great routes. He's pretty quick. He's very. I mean, I know he's not 6'2", 6'3". He's not ideal wide receiver or slot wide receiver height, but he gets the job done, and he's becoming Chad Henne's favorite target.
Chad Henne!
And he returns punts really well. And if Terrell Owens, like I said, can keep up his good performances, that'll be good for my WCOF team.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is Devon Bess. Is this the guy you went to high school with, or are you just a big fan of the Rainbow Warriors?
No. The guy I went to high school with is now their starting tight end, Joey Hanos. Another guy who you should pick up in the waiver wire because all he's been doing this past couple weeks is catching touchdown passes.
No, you have to talk to Doug about that because I know he's a huge fan of Anthony Fasano.
Anthony Fasano's injured, so
I know that. I mean, you don't think I know that? Of course I know that.
Pickup.
I mean, that's no big deal.
I like Miami in the spot here at Buffalo. Buffalo's fading. Miami's doing real well. Like Miami in that game.
Yeah, I think Buffalo looked good in one game all year, maybe 2 where they beat the Jets and then they played the Patriots.
Now, this is a tough spot right here on a St. Louis team that's really stepping up. Steven Jackson's really increased his numbers fantasy-wise. Mark Bulger, a little gimpy. I don't know if they said he's going to be out for this game, so look for Kyle, my favorite bowler, to start. Donnie Avery, this guy Brandon Gibson, Danny Amendola, those 3 guys have been doing well. But let's look at Seattle. They're fading real fast. Justin Forsett is still stepping up for Julius Jones. He had a couple touchdown rushes last game.
This is a weird game, but with 2 really lousy teams. I'll take the home team in that game anytime. I will. If I was betting on, if I was a gambling man.
I think they win that game too.
More pertinent to this area, probably our viewing area, is Washington at Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is favored -9. As Phil reminded me last week, Washington has not lost by more than a touchdown all season,
except for the Falcons,
except and the Philadelphia game.
Except for that Falcons.
Yeah, it was close enough.
Okay, so they have lost by that much.
But it doesn't happen very often, especially in Dallas.
They are at the Deadskins are at the Beagles this week, so they could very well lose by 10 again, I suppose. But they've been managing to keep it close, and keeping it close at Dallas. That's a really tough order for any team, much less the hapless Deadskins.
And the hapless Deadskins are a team that is improving on defense every week. I mean, their offense is still completely. I mean, they're incapable of scoring touchdowns.
If you think about it, they're really not out of the playoff race. If they win the next 6 games, they're going to make the playoffs. But who's going to be their running back? And I think it's going to be Rod Cartwright, and that guy's not too explosive.
Well, he only had 190 yards of offense or something last week.
Well, he did very well last week. I've never been a firm believer of Rod Cartwright, but again, if you want to start him, go ahead.
It seems like
Portis should be coming back pretty soon. Now, we don't know if he's going to be back this weekend, but all he had was a concussion. As soon as Portis comes back, these other guys, Betts is already injured. Cartwright has almost no value once Portis comes back.